If you have found these words today, understand this: nothing happens by accident. The very fact that you are here, listening, is the evidence that massive wealth is already yours. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Your desire for wealth was never a random wish. It was a divine whisper, a signal from your higher self that the life you seek already exists in the unseen. When you long for abundance, it is because abundance is already yours, waiting for recognition. Wealth does not begin in the bank. It begins in the mind. Everything you will ever own, everything you will ever experience, first appears as an idea, a picture within. What you dare to imagine and feel as true, that you shall one day touch with your hands. So I ask you, what are you imagining right now? Are you dwelling in lack, or are you living in the reality where money flows to you effortlessly? You must feel the joy of already being wealthy before it shows up. This is the secret few ever practice. You cannot wait for money to feel rich. You must feel rich, and then the money comes. Finally, stop looking at what your senses tell you. They will deceive you into believing in limitation. The outer world is nothing more than a shadow of your inner assumptions. Do not fight the shadow. Change the light within, and the shadow must follow. When you close your eyes tonight, see yourself in your wealthy home. Hear the sound of success in your voice. Taste the life of luxury you desire. Make it real within, and do not break that state. The outer world will rearrange itself to match your inner certainty. If you are hearing this now, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The riches you seek are not coming, they are here. Own them in consciousness, and soon the world will bow to your belief. Massive wealth is already yours. Believe it, feel it, live it. Imagination is the foundation of everything you will ever experience. Every building you see, every piece of technology you use, every form of wealth in the world existed first as a thought in someone's mind. Nothing in this physical world appears without first existing in the unseen world of imagination. What you see within is more real than what you see without, because the inner world is the cause and the outer world is only the effect. Most people believe that reality shapes their imagination. They think, I'll believe I'm wealthy when I see the money in my bank account. But this is the great error. The truth is the exact opposite. What you see within, what you imagine and accept as true, creates the reality you will one day experience. Your current life is nothing more than the reflection of past imaginal acts. The car you drive, the home you live in, the income you earn, each was shaped by the ideas you once held about yourself and your circumstances. If you understand this law, you hold the key to transformation. You are not a victim of the world around you, you are the creator of it. The thoughts you habitually think and the feelings you sustain mold the substance of reality. Your internal state determines your external wealth. If your mind is filled with images of lack, struggle, and limitation, the outer world cannot help but reflect that back to you. But the moment you begin to imagine differently, when you dare to see yourself as already abundant, already successful, you plant the seeds of a new reality. This is why imagination is not a daydream or idle fantasy. It is the creative power of life itself. The pictures you form in your mind, when combined with the feeling of reality, set into motion unseen forces that shape your experience. When you sit quietly and see yourself holding the keys to your dream home, when you feel the weight of financial freedom and taste the joy of wealth, you are not merely pretending, you are creating. The outer world lags behind the inner world. Just as the seed takes time to break through the soil, your imaginal acts take time to appear in the physical. But do not be deceived by the delay. The moment you assume the feeling of wealth, the moment you persist in that assumption, creation is already complete. What you see in imagination now will harden into fact if you remain faithful to it. Consider this. Every limitation you believe is real is nothing but a shadow cast by your own consciousness. The poverty you fear, the debt you see, the scarcity you experience, they have no power except the power you give them through attention. Shift your attention from what is to what you desire to be. Live in the end of your wish fulfilled. Act as though it is already yours in the unseen world, for indeed it is. When you close your eyes tonight, dare to imagine the life you want as if it were happening now. See it clearly, feel it deeply, lose yourself in the reality of your dream until it feels natural. And then let the world do what it must, for it cannot do otherwise. The law is unchanging. Imagination creates reality. What you see within will become what you see without. Your wealth begins the moment you claim it in consciousness. Wealth is not something that comes to those who wait and hope. It comes to those who live as though it is already theirs. The great secret is this: feelings are the creative force of life. Thought shapes the blueprint, but feeling gives it power. You cannot merely think about wealth. You must assume the feeling of already being wealthy. This feeling is the magnet that draws riches into your experience, for the outer world is compelled to match the inner vibration you hold. Look at the world around you. Everything you experience is an echo of your inner state. If you feel lack, if you feel unworthy, life will reflect those feelings in the form of limitation and struggle. But the moment you change how you feel about yourself, the moment you rise into the state of abundance, the doors begin to open. It may appear subtle at first, a new opportunity, an unexpected gift, a change in circumstances, but these are the natural results of the inner assumption taking root. When you assume the feeling of wealth, you are not pretending, you are claiming your rightful inheritance in consciousness. You are saying, I am now the person who lives in abundance. And when that feeling becomes natural, it must objectify itself. This is the law. What you accept as true about yourself and feel deeply will shape your world. Most people wait for the money before they allow themselves to feel wealthy. They believe the outer event must come first, but that is an illusion. The outer event is the effect, not the cause. The cause is your inner state. If you continue to feel poor, worried, or desperate, you are reinforcing the state of lack. Even if an opportunity appears, you will push it away or fail to recognize it because you are not aligned with it. To receive wealth, you must first feel wealthy. How do you assume the feeling of wealth? Begin by quieting the mind and entering a state of relaxation. In that stillness, imagine a scene that would be true if you were already abundant. Perhaps you are holding a large check in your hands, or sitting in the home of your dreams, or hearing a loved one congratulate you on your success. Do not merely see the scene. Feel it. Feel the joy, the confidence, the relief of knowing that financial freedom is yours. Let those feelings saturate your being until they feel real, until they feel normal. This is not wishful thinking. This is a deliberate act of creation. You are impressing the subconscious mind with the reality you desire, and the subconscious has no choice but to express what is impressed upon it. When you maintain that feeling day after day, when you walk as though you already have what you desire, the world begins to conform. Opportunities appear, ideas come to you, and doors that were once closed begin to open, because you are now operating from the state of wealth. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. The how belongs to the unseen power that governs creation. Your task is only to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Every time doubt arises, return to the feeling. Every time lack tries to creep in, close your eyes and enter the state again. Persist. and you will see the evidence with your own eyes. Assume the feeling of wealth now, not tomorrow. Let it become so natural that the thought of lack feels foreign to you. When you do this, you align with the frequency of abundance, and wealth cannot help but find you, for as within, so without. The feeling of wealth is the seed. Nurture it, and the harvest will be inevitable. What you see with your physical eyes can easily deceive you if you allow it to dictate your state of mind. You look at an empty bank account, unpaid bills, or a small paycheck and think this is reality. But what you are seeing is nothing more than the shadow of your past beliefs. It is an effect, not the cause. To create something new, you must stop giving power to what appears to be true now and start living from the truth that exists in consciousness. The greatest mistake most people make is thinking that their current circumstances are permanent. They believe that what they see today will continue tomorrow. This is the illusion. Circumstances are fluid. They change the moment you assume a new state of being. Everything in the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. But to do that, you must detach from what your senses tell you now. When you see lack, do not accept it as the ultimate reality. Remind yourself, this is only the outpicturing of old thoughts and old feelings. It has no power except the power I give it. If you continue to identify with what you see, you will remain bound by it. But if you rise in consciousness and assume a new state, the old condition must dissolve. Detachment does not mean denial. It means you refuse to give emotional energy to what contradicts your desire. Detachment is an inner discipline. It is choosing not to react to appearances. When fear whispers that you will never have enough, you answer with faith. My wealth already exists in the unseen. When doubt creeps in because the numbers do not add up, you remind yourself, numbers cannot limit the infinite supply within me. The outer world may shout lack, but you keep your attention fixed on the abundance you hold in consciousness. True wealth is not in the bank, it is in the state of being wealthy. When you enter that state in imagination and feel its reality, you are richer than the person with millions who lives in fear of losing it. Wealth is a state of mind, and once you assume it, the world rearranges itself to reflect it. Opportunities, ideas, and resources begin to flow because you have detached from the old and embraced the new. Think of a seed planted in the ground. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the unseen process. The same law applies here. Once you have imagined and felt yourself in possession of wealth, leave it alone. Do not constantly look to the outer world for proof. That only shows you what is old. Instead, live as though it is already done. Act, speak, and feel from the position of one who has already received. Detachment is freedom. It means you are no longer controlled by appearances. You understand that what you see is temporary, and the reality you hold in imagination is eternal. When you stop reacting to lack and start dwelling in abundance mentally, the old world crumbles and the new world emerges. So release the grip on what is. Do not fight it, do not argue with it, simply withdraw your belief from it. Rest in the knowing that your true wealth exists now within you, and soon the outer will confirm it. For consciousness is the only reality. And when you detach from circumstances, you allow the unseen riches to take form in your life. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, luck, or opportunity, it is persistence. When you assume the state of wealth, you must hold that state regardless of what the outer world is showing you. This is where most people falter. They imagine themselves rich, they feel abundant for a day or two, and then reality seems to mock them with bills, debts, and lack. In that moment, they abandon their assumption and return to the old state. But the law is unwavering. What you persist in imagining will harden into fact. Do not make the mistake of believing this is a one-time act. Creation is finished in the unseen the moment you feel it real. But for it to take shape in the physical, you must remain faithful. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality, despite what your senses declare. It is the inner certainty that says, I have already received it, even when your outer world appears unchanged. Think of persistence as the watering of a seed. You do not plant a seed and then uproot it because it has sprouted in a day. You nurture it, water it, and trust the unseen process. Every time you return to the feeling of wealth, you are watering that seed. Every time you ignore appearances and reaffirm your abundance, you strengthen its roots. But the moment you waver, the moment you return to lack and say it's not working, you stop the growth and delay the harvest. Persistence is not struggle. It is not forcing or straining. It is quiet confidence. It is the gentle yet firm decision to dwell in the state of wealth until it becomes natural. At first it may feel strange because you have spent years living in lack. But if you remain in that feeling, it will become familiar. It will become your home. When the state of wealth feels more real to you than the state of poverty, you have succeeded. Do not be concerned with time. Time is the greatest test of faith. The moment you say it's taking too long, you have admitted doubt. Instead, live in the end as though it is already done. When thoughts of lack arise, and they will, do not fight them. Simply return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Remind yourself, this is who I am now. I am wealthy and nothing can change that. Persistence means that no matter what comes, you refuse to identify with the old state. The bills come, you pay them in confidence, knowing more is on its way. The numbers look small, yet you rejoice because you know the greater reality exists within. You walk by faith, not by sight. And here is the great truth. The moment you no longer feel the need to check or question when it will happen, you are living in the state. When it feels normal to think, speak, and act as though you are already wealthy, the work is done. The outer world cannot resist. It must conform. So persist. Do not waver. Dwell in the state of being wealthy until it feels as natural as breathing. Hold the vision, hold the feeling, and hold the faith. For the promise is sure. Whatever you persist in assuming, you will one day experience. Everything you see around you, the buildings, the wealth, the poverty, the success, the failure, began as something unseen. Every visible effect has an invisible cause. This is the law of life, and once you understand it, you hold the power to transform your entire existence. The world is not happening to you. It is happening through you. What you experience is not random chance or luck. It is the outpicturing of what has already been accepted and sustained in your inner world. Most people believe that the physical world is the starting point. They think money creates the feeling of wealth, that success creates the confidence, that love creates the happiness. But they have it backward. The truth is, feeling creates the form. The unseen state creates the seen condition. When you understand this, you stop chasing effects and start working on the cause, your inner assumptions, beliefs, and feelings. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. You cannot hold thoughts of lack and expect abundance to appear. You cannot feel unworthy and expect wealth to flow to you. The outer world is only a mirror, reflecting what you have already accepted within. The law does not fail. It is impartial and exact. Think about it. When you plant a seed in the soil, you do not see the roots forming, but you trust the process because you know the unseen causes the seen. The same principle applies here. Your imagination is the soil, your thoughts are the seeds, and your feelings are the life-giving water. When you dwell in an idea and feel it real, you have planted the cause. The effect is inevitable. This is why it is futile to fight circumstances. You cannot change the mirror by altering the reflection. You must change the image that casts the reflection. If your outer world is filled with lack, struggling against it will only reinforce it because you are giving it attention and energy. Withdraw your focus from the visible and fix it on the invisible cause. Live in your imagination as the person you desire to be, and persist until that state feels natural. Every fortune, every empire, every success story began in someone's mind as an idea sustained by belief. The invisible world of thought and feeling is where all creation begins. When you realize this, you understand that nothing is impossible. If you can hold it within, you can hold it without. So stop asking, when will it happen? And start asking, what am I assuming within? The delay you see is not punishment. It is the time required for the unseen cause to solidify into form. Stay faithful to your inner vision, and do not allow appearances to shake you. The outer must obey the inner. That is the law. When you wake each day, remind yourself that the true creative power is within you. Close your eyes and see the life you desire as though it were happening now. Feel the reality of it in your heart. Speak from that state. Act from that state. And when doubt arises, return to the cause. The effect will follow. The law is simple, unchanging, and infallible. Every visible effect is born from an invisible cause. Change your inner world, your assumptions, your feelings, your imagination, and the outer world cannot help but conform. It has no choice, because the inner governs the outer. The invisible governs the visible. This is the eternal law, and it works without fail. To live in the end is to take possession of your desire in consciousness now, before it appears in the physical world. It is not waiting for wealth to come. It is assuming the position of one who already has it. Most people live in the state of waiting, hoping and seeking. They say, one day I will be rich, or when the money comes, then I'll feel secure. But this attitude keeps the desire forever out of reach, because you are affirming its absence. To live in the end means you no longer seek, you simply are. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself living the life of massive wealth, you must do so as if it were happening now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Feel the reality of it. Ask yourself, what would I see if this were true? What would I hear? How would I walk, speak, and think? What conversations would I have? This is not fantasy. This is the creative act of assuming the end. And when you persist in this assumption, life rearranges itself to reflect it. Most fail because they dwell on the means instead of the end. They worry about the how. How will I get the money? How will the opportunity come? How will my situation change? But the how does not belong to you. The creative power that shapes your world will take care of the means. Your only task is to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled and remain there. When you live in the end, the steps, the connections, the resources, all of it will appear naturally. To live in the end, you must let go of the old state completely. You cannot be both poor and rich in consciousness at the same time. You cannot imagine wealth for a few minutes and then spend the rest of the day worrying about bills. That is divided faith. You must fully identify with the end as though it were already true. This is what faith truly is. The unwavering conviction that it is done, even when nothing yet confirms it in the outer world. Make this practical. Tonight, before sleep, create a simple scene that would imply your wish is fulfilled. Perhaps you are holding a letter confirming that your debt is cleared. Perhaps you are sitting at a table signing documents for your dream property. Whatever the scene, keep it short and vivid. Feel the satisfaction of it. Loop that scene until it feels real, until you can no longer distinguish between imagination and reality. When you wake, carry that feeling with you. Walk as though it is done. Speak as though it is done. So this is not pretending, this is creating. The outer world is a reflection. And once you assume the end in consciousness, the reflection must change. If you hold that inner picture and refuse to abandon it, the world will conform. It has no choice, because the inner state is the cause and the outer is the effect. So do not seek, stop asking when, where, and how. Those questions belong to the one who doubts. Live in the end now. Be the person you desire to be in consciousness. Claim it, feel it, and rest in the knowing that it is done, for when you live in the end will live in you. And soon it will appear before your eyes. Everything you have heard leads to one unchanging truth. The world you see is a reflection of the world you imagine. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you assume. When you dare to live in the end, when you persist in the feeling of abundance, and when you detach from appearances, life cannot help but mirror that inner certainty. Do not wait for proof, become the proof. The moment you choose to feel rich in consciousness, the unseen begins to shape the seen. This is the law, and it never fails. Massive wealth is already yours. Claim it, live it, and let the evidence reveal itself in perfect time. Thank you, statement. Thank you for listening. If these words have inspired you, share them, live by them, and let your life become the testimony of this truth. Wealth is not coming, it is here, now. Believe it, feel it, and it is done. I am a multi-millionaire, not in the distant future, not one day, now. I have stepped into the reality where this truth lives. I no longer beg for it. I no longer chase it. I am it. I breathe it. I walk in it. And the world responds to my assumption of truth. My bank account may not yet show millions, but I do. My consciousness holds the vibration of wealth, and that is all that matters. Because this world, it's not happening to me, it's happening through me. I close my eyes and I see it. I feel the richness in my home, the elegance in my steps, the certainty in my voice. I walk as one who has, not one who wishes. And the law is clear. What I accept within must appear without. I do not check the outside world for proof. I do not ask permission from circumstances. I am the cause. I am the root. I am the source of the wealth I experience. I no longer try to become. I am. The truth is, I always was. I had simply forgotten. But now I remember. I remember that I am the dreamer and the dream, the artist and the canvas, the speaker and the echo. So I affirm again, not in doubt, but in power. I am a multi-millionaire. It is done, it is finished, it is so. And all things now rearrange themselves to make this reality unfold perfectly. Let the world say what it will. I am unmoved, for I have claimed the highest truth, and that truth will not return to me void. Watch as life bends to the story I now live, because I have declared it, I have assumed it, and therefore I am. The secret is not in striving or struggling to become something, it is in being. The transformation does not happen when you finally have the millions. It happens the moment you accept, without resistance, that you are already what you desire to be. The great shift in life occurs when you stop chasing and start claiming. This is the subtle yet powerful art of assumption. You are not wishing to be a multimillionaire, you are being one in consciousness, right here, right now. When you assume the identity of a multimillionaire, you are not merely engaging in positive thinking or blind optimism. You are performing a sacred act of inner alignment. You are saying to the universe, "This is who I am." And that declaration reverberates through the fabric of reality. You are no longer observing wealth as something far from you. You are no longer hoping to reach it. You are embodying it. This means you think like a multimillionaire. You walk like one. You speak from that reality. You make decisions not based on fear or lack, but from the confidence and abundance of your new identity. Your emotional state, your choices, and even your posture begin to reflect that truth. Not because you're pretending, but because you know. This assumption must become natural to you. You must no longer feel awkward about calling yourself wealthy. You must no longer entertain the identity of someone who hopes to have money one day. That version of you cannot create wealth. It only creates more distance. When you assume the identity now, you collapse the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You bring the future into the present, but this is not done by force. It is done in quiet confidence, in imagination, in feeling. At night, before sleep, you see yourself already living in abundance. You visualize the moments of your new life as if they were happening now, and you feel it, not in desperation, but in joy. You smile at your wealth. You rest in your abundance. You wake up already full. To assume is not to fake. It is to claim. When an actor assumes a role, he immerses himself so deeply in the identity that he becomes it on stage. Likewise, you must assume the identity so fully in your inner world that the outer world has no choice but to conform. The world mirrors your inner state. So if you want to experience wealth on the outside, you must create it within. It is not your job to figure out the how. It is your job to become the who. The world responds not to effort but to embodiment. What you embody, you attract. What you embody, you experience. And the moment you declare, I am a multimillionaire, with conviction, not doubt, you begin to breathe new life into your world. Doors open, opportunities appear, synchronicities unfold. Why? Because you stopped waiting, you started being. You became it in mind, you became it in spirit, and life, bound by the law of reflection, has no choice but to echo back what you are. You are not becoming a multimillionaire. You are one. Your imagination is not a fantasy machine. It is your creative power. It is the first cause of all that you experience. Everything you see in the outer world is a mirror reflecting what has first lived in the unseen realm of your mind. This is not metaphor, it is law. The wealth you seek is not somewhere in the distance, hiding in the future, or buried in hard work. It already exists, fully formed within you, waiting for one thing: your acceptance. The world does not bring you what you want, it brings you what you are conscious of being. The moment you see yourself as rich in imagination, not as a vague hope, but as a real, living fact, the wheels begin to turn. Reality is molded by the images you hold within. Imagination is not weak or passive, it is the very engine of creation. The unseen shapes the seen. The inner vision becomes the outer form. You do not need to look to your bank account for confirmation. That account is the result of past thinking, old assumptions. If you wish to change it, you must go to the root. You must dare to believe that what you picture in your mind is more real than what you see with your eyes. You must treat the invisible as the foundation of the visible. And from that sacred understanding, you begin to imagine, not as a child dreaming, but as a creator claiming. Imagine not just money in your hand, but the feeling of freedom, the taste of confidence, the peace of knowing all is provided for. Picture the life of the wealthy not as distant and untouchable, but as yours, already unfolding. Walk in those images, dwell in them, fall asleep in them, and most of all, feel them. For imagination is not just what you see, it is what you feel deeply as true. You may ask, how can that make a difference? But ask instead, has anything I've ever experienced not begun with a thought, a feeling, a mental picture? The answer is no. Everything, every relationship, every possession, every opportunity entered your life because you became available to it in consciousness. So why would wealth be any different? If you continue to see yourself as one who lacks, who is separate from riches, who must earn worthiness through toil, then that story will replay endlessly. But the moment you withdraw your attention from what is, and place it fully on what can be, and imagine it as now already done, everything changes. You align with the truth that you are the source, you are the vessel through which wealth expresses itself. The world responds to inner conviction, not outer need. It bends to the man or woman who dares to live from imagination instead of limitation. To imagine is to plant the seed. To persist in that image is to water it. And to feel its truth, even before it flowers, is to guarantee its harvest. So close your eyes. See yourself already living the life. Not begging for it, not waiting for it, living it. See it in high definition. Feel the richness in your skin, the comfort in your home, the clarity in your mind. And know this, it is not a fantasy. It is the beginning of reality. Your imagination is not fiction, it is creation. Use it wisely and it will mirror back to you a world beyond your wildest dream. Feeling is the secret. It is not merely the thought of wealth that manifests riches. It is the feeling of being wealthy that changes everything. Thought may set the direction, but feeling fuels the creation. It is your emotional state that speaks most clearly to the creative power within you. And the language it understands is not words, it is conviction, emotion, and embodiment. You must learn to feel rich before the world shows you the money. You must feel abundant while the bank balance may still reflect lack. Why? Because the outer world is not the cause of your inner state. It is the result. If you wait to feel wealthy until you have proof, you are trapped in a loop. But when you decide to feel wealthy now, without condition, you signal to life itself, this is who I am. And the world, by law, must echo that back to you. Do not wait for the evidence to allow yourself to feel what is already yours. Do not ask, when will it come? Ask instead, how deeply can I feel it now? Feel the joy of freedom, the peace of security, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing everything is taken care of. Feel what it would be like to live in overflow, not in fantasy, but in emotional truth. Your feelings are magnetic. They draw to you experiences that match their tone. A heart soaked in gratitude, joy, and certainty will always outcreate a mind full of doubt and logic. You cannot trick life with empty affirmations. You must mean what you feel. You must move beyond saying you are wealthy and begin feeling as though you already are. That shift changes everything. When you lie down at night, saturate your imagination with the feeling of already being rich. Picture the scenes that would naturally unfold in your life if money were no longer a concern. Would you walk differently, speak with more ease, laugh without worry, rest without anxiety? Hold those feelings. Let them become your dwelling place. The truth is, you are always feeling something. If you are not consciously choosing abundance, you may be unconsciously choosing lack. You may be rehearsing feelings of fear, stress, and not enoughness. And life responds not to what you want, but to what you most consistently feel. That is why it is not the wishers who receive, but the feelers. So shift now. Begin this very moment to evoke the emotion of wealth You don't need a reason. You don't need validation. You are not asking for permission. You are claiming your birthright. Let yourself smile for no reason. Let your breath slow down as though everything is already working out. Let your posture rise, your spirit lift, your energy brighten, simply because you have chosen to align with abundance. This practice is not about delusion. It is about creation. You are tuning your inner world to match the life you wish to live. And once the feeling becomes natural, once it feels normal to walk in wealth, the outer world must catch up. It has no choice. It is only ever a reflection of you. So, feel it. Not once, not sometimes, but until it becomes who you are. That is the secret. That is the way. To live from the end is to occupy the state of your desire as though it were already fulfilled. It means abandoning the waiting, the hoping, and the postponing, and stepping directly into the version of yourself who already possesses what you seek. You do not beg for wealth, you embody it. You do not chase success, you carry it. The outer world may not yet reflect the riches, but your inner world lives in them completely. This is where the shift begins. Most people live from the middle. They see where they are and they measure their next steps based on circumstances. They say, once I have the money, then I'll feel secure. Once I get the opportunity, then I'll act confident. Once life changes, then I'll believe. But this is backwards. You will not feel rich after you get the money. You will get the money after you feel rich. Living from the end means asking yourself daily, what would I do? How would I think? Who would I be if it were already done? If you were already a millionaire, what energy would you move in? What thoughts would dominate your mind? What decisions would you make and how would you carry yourself? The moment you begin living as though it's true, you give life no choice, but to arrange the pieces to reflect that truth. You must speak like it's done. You must walk like it's done. You must breathe like it's done, because in consciousness it is done, and that is the only place creation ever begins. Life does not respond to your hopes. It responds to your assumptions. If you assume wealth as your present state, not your future possibility, you begin to align with the version of reality where it already exists. This is not pretending. Pretending is hollow and filled with doubt. Living from the end is filled with knowing. It is a quiet certainty that what you desire is already yours, even if unseen. The outer evidence may lag behind, but you do not waver. You persist in the assumption. You return again and again to the state of being it until the feeling becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, life flows. Ideas come, people appear, doors open, not because you forced them, but because you finally matched the frequency of the life you wanted. The end is the cause, not the effect. When you live from the end, the world has no option but to reorganize itself to reflect your new identity. Ask yourself, am I acting from lack or from abundance? Am I making choices from fear or from freedom? You must train your imagination to dwell at the destination, not the delay. See the life, feel the success, taste the wealth, not one day, now. Your current reality is not a verdict, it is a shadow of yesterday's belief. And if you dare to believe in a new reality today, so vividly, so consistently, so boldly, then tomorrow must deliver it. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop seeking validation, live as though it's already yours. Because in the world of imagination, the end is already here. And when you live from it, you become it. What you see with your eyes right now is not the truth. It is only a reflection of your past thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. The present situation, no matter how real or fixed it may appear, is nothing more than a shadow of what once lived within you. It is the echo of old beliefs. To treat it as permanent is to forget your creative power. To give it authority over your inner world is to hand your future to your past. But you are not a prisoner of circumstance. You are the author of reality. You must learn to ignore what appears to be and trust in what is becoming. If you continue to focus on lack, hardship, or limitations because they seem real, you will only extend them. The outer world is not a creator, it is a follower. It bends itself to match your dominant state of consciousness. This means if you want change, you must start with your inner world. You must revise how you feel, how you think, how you identify. You must believe in the unseen more than what is seen. It is easy to get discouraged by what the senses show you. The unpaid bills, the limited income, the current job, the absence of support. But none of these things are fixed unless you say they are. None of these define your future unless you keep repeating their story. When you see something in the physical world that contradicts your desire, the secret is to look within and reaffirm what is true there. If your heart holds the truth of abundance, the outer world must eventually conform to that. It cannot resist forever. Do not argue with reality. Do not beg it to change. Simply shift your focus. Your attention is creative. What you give it to, you give life to. So stop energizing the problems. Stop feeding the facts that no longer serve you. Look instead to the inner world, the place where you are free to imagine, to believe, to assume. It is in this inner sanctuary that your new life is born. When you ignore the outer world, you're not denying its existence. You're denying its power to define your identity. You are choosing not to be limited by what was created yesterday. You are choosing to invest in the present moment, not as a reaction to what is, but as a conscious creation of what will be. And the more you practice this, the faster your reality shifts. The people around you may not understand. They may tell you to be realistic, to face facts. But what they call facts, you understand as effects. What they see as unchangeable, you see as temporary. Because you know the truth. The world outside is a mirror, and mirrors only reflect what stands before them. Change the image within, and the reflection must change too.